a traveling light. There's one thing that's right wherever I go. That's where I am.
People go after bounce checks now.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, before, I'd have to go the Daryl Jones route, where we have to fly over there and tip things over in a lobby.
Yep.
And cause a ruckus for them to find my check.
There's something fun about that, though.
What's that?
There's something fun about that.
There is. I love hearing those Daryl Jones stories where I think pardon me if I've said this. I know I've said this one to you personally, but I don't know if I've said this one on the podcast. He did work for another mechanic shop, and they were holding its... Like, that would happen sometimes where another mechanic shop takes a car, either they're too busy to work on it or it's just above what they're able to do. And then so instead they loan it out to another shop to do, but they still bill it through their business. And then they pay them off, and then they add to it. Anyway, the guy got paid, and then he never paid Daryl. And then so I was like, what'd you do? And he's like, I went over there with my gun, and I sat, and they had a lobby, and he had an ice cream bin. Like, it was like a nice lobby. And he's like, I just sat there eating ice cream. And he's like, by the time I got to the third ice cream bar, I forgot the guy's name, but he showed up. And I was like, first of all, you're diabetic. You shouldn't be eating ice cream. He's like, I know. I was hoping he'd show up sooner than he did. I had to plow through 3 of those things.
That's so badass.
Yeah, it is badass. He's like, and I'm diabetic. The fact that you show up and you eat the guy's ice cream.
Yeah.
And then when he shows up, he's like, Daryl, what is it? And he just puts the gun on the counter. And he had a giant gun, like a big, dirty, hairy gun. And he's like, let me get your money. And then he ran and got his money. He's like, sounds like a good idea. And but that only works when you look like Daryl Jones. Yeah. Big man, 300 pounds, big woolly beard.
I've done that.
You can
Not
do
with
that.
a gun.
Yeah.
But I've gone, people have been like, oh man, I got to get the money. I don't have it. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll go with you.
Yeah.
Just like very simple, like, well, man, I got to go to the ATM. It's like a whole thing. No, it's cool. I'll go with you.
Yeah.
And just straight up like play dumb, but like they know I'm not dumb type of thing. And that's a fun one when you go, oh, that's fine. I'll come with.
Yeah.
Because then it turns into from come with, it comes no, I'll just follow you.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, follow?
I'll follow you home.
Yeah. And then it's, I guess I'll get that money.
Yeah, dude, I'm right behind you. That's your car, right?
Yeah.
I'll be right behind you.
I've had clubs do that where they're like,
Yeah.
oh, we're going to have to do like a split payment. It's like, no, it's fine. I'll wait.
Yeah.
No, I'm right here. I'll wait.
No, I'll wait.
We didn't get the door wasn't good. No, that's fine. We'll just go to the ATM.
That's fine.
You got the ATM card? We'll go to the ATM.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
I just remembered the coolest, because I don't get to do cool things.
Yeah.
And one time, this was before I was, 18 years old? We played flag football, and the buy-in was $75, and I floated these 2 brothers. I forget what their names were. One was named Julian.
Lyle and
Eric Menendez. I haven't been able to, every time they call, it's like through collect. I'm not accepting those charges.
Hilarious.
So, but no, these 2 brothers, and then they took everyone paid me except for these 2 guys. It was $150, which when I was 18, $150 might have been $150,000. That's so much money for me back then.
It's all the money.
Yeah. And we played the whole season. He never pays me. And then he stops responding to my phone calls. And then now we're like a year out. I don't know what happened to this guy. He just goes MIA. We go to In-N-Out Burger over by my mom's house. Guess who's over there taking orders? And I order, I go, oh, buddy, you still owe me $75. He's like, well, he's all nervous with his little white hat on, paper. You know, it's not hiding the sweat, starting to dampen the paper hat. And I was with my 2 friends at the time. I was hanging out with this punk band. It was my buddy Josh, who is now transitioned and is now a woman living in the Bay Area. Remember that came by with the donuts? This is at that time when he was in a punk band, and we were hanging out, and I told him the story, and they're like, let's just wait till he gets off his shift. And then so we sat in the parking lot, and they played a broken guitar. This is like the scene out of like a Desperado like director's cut. And he's just out there playing the guitar, and I'm just there waiting for my $75. And then finally, In-N-Out closes at like 1 a.m. And they start coming out, and the manager comes out. He's like, "You fellas okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, just waiting for one of your employees. We got some business to settle." And he's like, fair enough. And then they never stopped playing the guitar. These 2 punk kids with like mohawks and tattoos and stuff. And I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever done.
the manager's like, sir, I don't know what kind of business. And the guitar turns there. Oh, that kind of business. Gotta go. Good luck.
Make you squeal, piggy. And then the kids showed up, and I was like, well, we'll go to the ATM right now. And we went. I think this might have been a robbery, but it was money I was owed.
Yeah,
I
no.
didn't even ask for interest. I could have asked for more than $75, but I didn't. And yeah, I got paid. And that was the only time I think ever in my life I did anything remotely cool, which is cool.
I mean, as far as like stealing from people, I say that was probably it.
Pretty badass.
Pretty badass.
Like, I always remember that scene in Rocky where he's like a loan shark guy, and he comes with that, and the guy's on the forklift, and he tries to get away, and then he's like, oh, take my jacket. He's like, I don't want your jacket, I want the money. And I was like, yeah, that was me. That was me roughing up a In-N-Out employee.
I don't want your burgers.
Yeah,
I want
should have
your
sat
money.
there eating burgers.
In-N-Out didn't loan me money. Or I didn't loan In-N-Out money. I loaned you money.
Why don't you talk to Mrs. Out and see if you can get an advance on your pay? Oh, man, we've been recording. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to This Week in Zoltan. This is episode 392. After telling that story, I don't know if you've noticed my body posture, but I feel very cool right now.
You ready to fight?
I feel like I'm on one of those broy podcasts where everyone has a chain and they interview old retired UFC fighters, and they're like, what was that like when you, and slowly their voice gets deeper and they're like, oh yeah, I like to go barefoot in my lawn and anyway, This Week in Zoltan 392. Emma's here, looking lovely as always. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Hello. We got Mike on the ones and twos. How are you doing, Mike?
Hey, everybody. I'm just ready to get into a fist fight now.
I know.
I'm geared up. I'm gassed.
I
Let's
know.
go.
Isn't it? It's a good
Yeah.
feeling.
It's a great feeling.
I think the coffee's helping too. Well, we had a good time. Did the fan just die?
Yeah, it was set on a timer for some reason. Can rip that feature off of there.
I just
I
realized.
want to stop being comfortable in an hour. What kind of fan is this?
You know what? I just realized the club that bounced to check on me, their AC also went out during the last show.
That's no good.
During the last show, I had like 20 minutes left, and it just got hot. I got hot, and I noticed the front row got hot, and I go, what happened? Did someone's dad show up and look at the thermostat and go, 68? What are you guys, insane? Bumped it up to 75, and then it came back on because they heard me say it, and I was like, yeah, that kind of goes in line with a bounce check.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes.
have that.
It goes all together. I'm in a good mood. We had a good morning. Woke up early.
We did.
What did we do today? We had groceries delivered. I dropped off packages. I got when we drop off the Safe Journal, which I'll do the promo in a second. When I dropped them off today because you were waiting for the Amazon grocery delivery, and we have a cart, like a blue cart, and I was wearing this sweater, and so I'm taking this sweater and this blue cart filled with packages down to the post office, and there was like a Russian lady who was like out in front of her building, apparently waiting for the post office. And she confused me with like a letter carrier, and she wanted to look in my basket. It's like, as I'm walking by, speaking all Ruski, she's like, I'm walking by, but she's like trying to lift my flap, looking in my basket and I'm like, what are you doing? And she goes, I'm looking package, apartment, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't work for the post office. Yes, but, and I'm like, oh, you only know that much English. You don't even know that I don't work for the post office. And then the rest of the walk, I'm like, why would she do that? And then I passed a post office, a real post office guy.
And then he tipped his hat to you.
Full on Bukowski.
Yeah, you, me, and Bukowski. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm dressed like a post office employee if you don't look too quickly. Yeah.
But why would you go for the bag first as her? Ask first.
Yeah. I think
You start looking. You're like, what was your apartment number? Oh, wait, I don't work here.
I was thinking about other scenarios where I'm like, what if she wasn't looking for something, but she was looking to drop off? And then through the language barrier and my people pleasing, I just take it because I am going to the post office. So I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll take the thing you're trying to ship.
Or you just give her my journals.
You just take your phone out and scan. Boop, make a noise. Got it.
That'd be your biggest fear. I take out one of your journals and then just hand it off.
Is it my biggest fear?
No, I mean, I think you're always surprised when I drop them off and it all worked out.
Yeah, I am.
Because like anytime there's some sort of customer complaint, I know in your brain you shoot to the idea that maybe I lost one of the journals
like
on the way.
two calendars. I thought you had found 2 calendars in our apartment.
And shoved them in there. Yeah. And I know I'm a bad employee, but I've never done anything
no,
like
you're
that.
actually great.
Yeah,
You
I'm
do
a
really
good.
job.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just go full Newman.
Yeah.
Start stealing the mail. Don't care about anything.
I love the episode where he works out a deal with George to get him paisanos because Steinbrenner wants paisanos. And the first day of the deal, it's like, oh, yeah, Newman's not working. He's like, why? It's raining. And then he shows up to his apartment. He's like, why weren't you at work today? He's like, it's raining. And George goes, no matter rain nor sleet, it's the first one. It's like, you're supposed to do your job. That used to be their tagline in the 90s. No matter rain nor sleet nor snow.
Snow nor hail.
Nor hail.
That was the other one, yeah.
Or hail? They even went that far?
Rain, sleet, snow, or hail. Right?
What about God? Like just godly flooding. Have you heard that story?
Yeah.
That
Rain, sleet, snow, or hail.
Have you heard the story that the hillbillies are like attacking or threatening FEMA workers?
Yes.
In the Appalachian Mountains because the government controls the weather?
Buddy, I can't even get into that.
I said that entire sentence out loud, and instead of either of you looking at me like I'm insane, both of you had already heard about it. I already told you about it, and you're like, yeah, that seems like the world that we live in.
I have a relative currently going through that.
Living in the Appalachians?
No, well, not far from it, and desperately trying to convince people that the government, the Democrats control the weather, and they're only hitting red states on purpose.
Specifically?
Yes.
Man.
Look at it. Open your eyes.
Wow.
Like, I think I want to close my eyes if that's what's going on.
That'd be crazy if that was true, and then the Republicans control the fires in California. And they're just like burning down California.
Combine these two.
It all works.
Let's control.
Listen, the conspiracy theory idea for that is 100% true if nothing ever happened to New York, California, what are some other, but Washington State, always covered in fires.
The whole thing's crazy.
Yeah,
it's all nuts.
And the more you try to explain it, the less. It must be fun, though. I kind of want to believe in that stuff.
It would be a more fun way to live.
Yeah.
You know, knowledge is power, but knowledge is also very heavy. Yeah. A heavy burden.
There was I didn't open this article, but the headline of the article was Bill Nye the Science Guy responds to Marjorie Taylor Greene's anti-whatever. I'm sure she said something weather-related. And then they had to bring on the TV science guy from my childhood with the bow tie to go to like explain it to her with pictures. That was the guy who taught us science because kids are dumb and we don't understand science. And he's the guy that's trying to teach adults science now. And we're all at the same grade level. It's pretty crazy.
You know what's scary is did you see what a recent interview with, this is going to sound crazy, Tucker Carlson and Elon Musk?
No.
Where he asked, do you believe we went to the moon? And Elon, that side's Jesus, basically said, we definitely went to the moon. It's 100% went to the moon. I feel like that's going to be a problem for some people to go, oh man, now we don't like this guy? We lost our guy. That's our one guy.
It goes to show you can't be a 100% in any direction because you're going to lose yourself some good music. Like, I'm not supposed to listen to Ted Nugent because he says wild stuff. I'm not supposed to listen to Great White Buffalo. I'm not supposed to listen to that great guitar riff because he and I maybe don't punch the same card at the ballot box in November. Like, why would you do that to yourself? Also, just because you landed on this is what I would say to people. Like, I remember having this argument at the mechanic shop, and I turned it into a joke. This was many years ago when I was working there, but they were all of the customers that would come in, you know, more conservative people, and they were always mad that the United States flag was made in China. That was like a real scuttle at the time. And then I found a Yahoo article where there was an anti-American protest somewhere, I'm going to say the Middle East, and a guy lit the American flag on fire, and the ink that they used was toxic, so the fumes killed him.
Sure.
And I was like, that's kind of cool, you know? So I was like, if it was made in America, we wouldn't be allowed to use toxic ink. So the fact that it was made in China actually helped kill an anti-American protester at a thing. And we weren't even there. And I'm like, that's kind of badass, right, fellas? And they're like, it's kind of badass. You know?
Should have burned a box of Fruit Loops. That's where all the chemicals are.
I also think doesn't it kind of badass as a country to go, you make our flags. We don't have time for it. You make our flags in your country and then ship them over.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And that's the argument I made. And they were kind of like, yeah, that's kind of cool. And I'm like, it is.
Imagine walking into a facility in America and it's just nothing but Chinese flags. You'd have a lot of questions about that manufacturing facility. What's going on here? There's a bunch of Russian flags going out with Putin's picture on. I'm like, what do you guys do here? Nah, man, we're just a business.
Yeah, dude, we're just
Trying to survive, dude.
textiles, bro. Is that what textiles are? Is that
so.
cloth? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just making textiles. Anyway, it was crazy. It reminded me just the fact that they had to send National Guard to go protect these FEMA employees as they're going in to try to help people from the last which hurricane affected them. And it reminded me of like when those weird religious people try to go to those islands where there's like cannibal tribes that don't. It's very clear these people don't want contact with outside humans, but there's like one guy with a Bible. It's like, I'm going to convert everyone. And then that guy gets shish kebabbed immediately.
Yeah.
That's eventually what's going to happen with like the Appalachians and stuff. Like there's going to be like government workers coming in with paper towels or whatever Trump was throwing at Puerto Ricans a few years ago. And then they're just going to be attacked by these people. And we're just going to be like, yeah, that's a part of the country you don't go to.
It just happens, man.
That's crazy.
So crazy.
It's insane.
America.
Like it's hard to giggle about because
But I also like the idea that you can do that in this country. You can have the ideology, but once you start imposing it on other people without recourse, or that's when it starts to become a problem. But I think it works both ways.
yeah,
Whatever religion you want, that's yours, dude. I'm happy for you.
yeah.
Just don't put it on me.
Yeah,
Don't put it on me.
Yeah, do it amongst yourselves. Also, if someone else in the neighborhood wants some help from FEMA, maybe let them through.
Sure.
And then you can turn down the check.
Yeah.
Also, FEMA's not helping that much. I read an article where this poor guy, lost his trailer and his wife. His wife passed away. This river washed away his trailer from the floods. And he's like, FEMA came by and they offered me 4 days at a hotel, but they couldn't give it to me because they needed my driver's license, and I got washed away. And so I'm staying with friends. And I'm like, maybe don't ask for paperwork when someone's house washes away and you're trying. And also 4 days at a hotel. What's that going to do? What are you featuring at a comedy club? Like, what's 4 days at a hotel going to do for anybody? I was able to whip up my life in 4 days at the Ramada.
You can stay at the manager of the hotel's house in the spare bedroom. What is this, a funny bone? I've also seen a lot of dispute of that, like the FEMA. Like even Republican governors of like North Carolina, like, yo, this is not true.
Right.
We got money coming out. Like, this is all crazy stuff happening. Like, we're doing everything we can. Please don't, and that says a lot if it's one side or the other's person is saying, hey, it's fine, guys. Everyone chill out.
We're trying to help. No one, it doesn't, listen, I don't know anything, but I think we're all about making money.
Sure.
It doesn't make us money to destroy people that spend money.
Yep.
It's not good for the economy. It's not good for your boy.
No.
It's not good for anyone's business. Selling journals. Speaking of which, do you have feelings to write down? Do you have feelings in your heart that you're yelling at a FEMA employee while they're trying to cut you a check for your property that was washed away in a river, and you're like, maybe I should write these feelings down. Maybe I shouldn't yell these into the ether. Maybe they don't need to call the National Guard because I just cocked a shotgun into the face of a nerd who decided to get a job out of college to help people.
Oh my God.
Is this not a good pitch? Is this not?
Hey, he had a barrel full of these things today. Is working.
Let me tell you something. We all have feelings. I have them. You have them. Sometimes you have them with other people. Sometimes you have feelings that other people don't have, and then when you tell them about it, they go, good Lord, and never talk to you again. You know how to prevent that? You write down your feelings into a journal. Perhaps this one, Safe Journal. SafeJournal.co. Perfect felt, nice green color. It's popping, but it's not obtrusive to your visual palette. There's good paper in there. High-end, tree-free, acid-free. Mm-hmm. Which one? Both. There's no trees in here. There's no acid in here. You can lick this paper, buddy. And you know that you're not hurting the planet by writing your thoughts down in these humble little pages. Safe Journal, safejournal.co. 25% off. I said 25, you guys. 25, not 20. Also not 30. Calm down. This isn't UNICEF. 25% off. If you type in the code TWIZ at checkout, you also get a handwritten note by me. Handwritten. All right, that paper
Wrap
might
it
not.
up.
Huh?
Wrap it up.
Oh,
It's been going on for a while.
I was really feeling
I'm
it.
kidding. You're doing a great job.
I write you a handwritten note, and they're all unique. And sometimes I write in quotes from a Bukowski thing that I read. And it might not make sense, especially if you got the discount code off the internet and you have no idea what this podcast is. Then it's extra weird, which could be happening. But Safe Journal, safejournal.co.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
It's not paper?
It's tree-free paper.
How is that? How do you do
It's
tree-free?
like made from like cotton and other
Really?
materials. Yep, but it's made from acid-free paper so that it lasts a really long time.
I mean, we're just adding value here.
Mm-hmm. I always forget to mention that.
Yeah, I don't think maybe you've said it. I just didn't
No, I
notice,
never
but-
bring it up. I always forget. Was it archival? Is that the
It's
word?
archival
Yeah,
paper.
archival paper. So, like, if you write these thoughts down, they could end up in the Smithsonian for years and years and years, and then people can rifle through your thoughts.
Such
if you
as
want them to.
Sugarcane, husks, and straw, bamboo, hemp. Wow,
Yeah, there's a whole lot of things.
it's
they can make it
wild.
out of, yeah.
Just
So you can smoke the paper?
100%.
You're such an idiot.
I'm sorry.
No,
No, you can't. No,
you can use it to smoke other things.
Yes, it's great rolling paper, tree free, no trees. So yeah, it was a fun news day. It's I don't know what else happened. We went. What did we do? I made you eggs this morning. You hated my eggs. Do you remember that?
I do.
I ended up having 4 eggs for breakfast which is about 2 more than I wanted, because I made scrambled eggs. And I you know what I really felt bad about? I feel like I've really dialed in my scrambled eggs. They're so fluffy. They're so light. It's like you're eating a cloud of egg.
Love it.
That's what it is. A little bit of water, New York City tap water, nothing but the best. Dash of fluoride in there so
Yeah.
your teeth stay sparkling white and you stay docile for the government to step on your throat during election day. Is that a conspiracy? I think that might be right. But anyway, I whip up these eggs. I give you the first one, avocado. How do you do? Trying to be healthy. No hot sauce, no salt, no pepper. Pure egg, pure delight. Drop it off. I start making mine. As soon as mine hits the sizzle pan, I just hear, it's too watery.
First of all, the presentation was amazing.
That's what we like to
looked
hear.
Really good. But it was just a little wet.
It was wet?
It was a little wet.
That's why it
Usually
was...
you make really good eggs.
Have you ever been through a cloud? You know when you're in a plane and you go through a cloud, there's a little moisture on the window.
There's a little too much moisture.
I mean, it might have been a rainstorm.
I've never heard a worse description of trying to make her feel better about it. These eggs, a little much. Have you ever been in a cloud? What? Are we doing breakfast or eating mushrooms? What are we doing right now? Have you ever been in a cloud? That's a tough sell.
The reason I've been trying to dial in my
Cloud. It's so funny.
it's the eggs I've been trying to make since the one time I visited Paris in 2017.
Oh, is it the...
I had eggs at a hotel that I was staying in. I don't know how they did it, but it was like whipped cloud air.
I know how to do it.
How do you do it?
You got to start on a cold pan, and a little slab of butter. Heat, stir, like 20 seconds, come off the heat. Keep stirring. 20 seconds, on, off. Oh, it takes a long time, but man,
You had a little milk in there too?
no.
No milk.
Because milk will burn. But what you can do is at the end, if you have a little like sour cream or creme fraiche, put off the heat, mix it in, well, chop chive.
Okay,
Buddy, let me tell you, that's a
listed-
party. It takes a long time, but it's very good.
You listed so many
Did you take
ingredients.
Two eggs and butter.
Yeah, well, eggs and butter, but this thing, the on-off.
No, just take the pan off.
You're not
Oh.
trying to get
Let's start from the beginning. Do you have a pan?
Yes.
Okay. Turn in the fire on and off.
Because what I do,
Just yelling at yelling at the stove. You ever been in a cloud? The stove just goes like this, huh?
that is one of the dumber moments. I remember making eggs a long time ago, and I was making them, and who was the next? Was it my mom? Maybe it was my mom next to me. And I was like, I hate it. It always burns. And she's like, take it off the heat. But it was like a induction It's not
yeah.
a flame. It's where the hot surface is.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, but even when I turn it off, it's still hot. And she's like, well, take the pan off. And I was like,
Wow.
yeah. It's the morning. I
early.
just woke up. Who's making eggs at night? You asked me to make that egg at night. I would have pieced that together.
Remember when you thought a clove of garlic was the entire garlic?
Yeah.
You were trying.
That's called a bulb. We're getting in technical here, but that's a bulb of garlic.
Yeah, we were doing first of all, this started because I went to therapy. That's where all this started. I started because I went to therapy, and my therapist recommended, she's like, a great way to spend time with your significant others. Have you ever tried cooking with them? And I was like, no. And she's like, well, like a Blue Apron. I don't know if she got a kickback from Blue Apron for
Probably.
recommending them. But she's like, here's my discount code.
Promo code Oxycontin. Double selling me here, lady.
Promo code mental health.
Yeah.
So we went in to cook together, and it was also a great learning experience for both of us because I got to find out that a clove of when they say put a clove of garlic in there, they mean one of the beans in the thing, not the entire thing.
I wouldn't call it a bean, but we're getting there.
Yeah,
One step at a time.
Yeah, because a clove, it kind of looks like what I would imagine a clove is. It's
Sure.
a bulb, like a bulbous thing.
It's a bulb.
Yeah,
There you are.
a clove of a bulb.
Yeah.
English is a second
I
language.
love this segment.
Yeah, but then also
It says add pepper. You just show there's a whole green pepper unchopped. It says add a pepper. This is a pepper.
the hell is a disp? We don't know what this is. But yeah, that was a relationship growing experience cooking together.
Yeah.
Because I had to learn things that I'd never known, and then you had to give up control.
Yeah, I learned that I can't cook with anyone.
Yeah. I remember I learned you got that from your mom because the
Yeah.
first time we were at your mom's, you're like, oh, why don't you ask my mom what she's doing? And they just try to like communicate. And I was like, all right. And then she was making June, which is like, it's one of the big main ingredients is walnut.
Yeah, walnuts.
And it's like ground up. And I was like, I just went in there like an idiot. And I'm like, walnuts, huh? And I was like, you grind all those up? She's like, yes. And I was like, that must take a while. She goes, okay.
She like kicked me back.
Yeah, shoot out of the kitchen. Because I didn't ask. I felt like I was interviewing like Robert De Niro, and I asked him, so like, do you just like pretend you're somebody else?
So you memorize the lines and then say them back? Cool.
Like I asked stupid cooking questions. She's like, get the hell out of here. I'm trying to make Fessenden.
Go to Bob Ross. What's that, paint? Nice.
Is that lead based?
Man.
But yeah. That's the other thing we found out. This is why I hate the internet and social media. I made a video to try to promote my shows for Raleigh, and I had coffee in a glass Garfield mug that we bought at a vintage store. It's from like the 70s, and it was from McDonald's. Like McDonald's had a promo in the 70s or 80s, whenever this was. And I'm like and there was like 10 comments that said, are those the one with the lead in them? And I was like, what? And then for some reason, I shared that with you. I could have kept those comments
And
to
then
myself.
I spiraled.
Yeah, 'cause she's a hypochondriac. She's like, lead? And then she looked them up and she goes, yeah, these are lead based. They gave like kids
have lead
brain
paint
cancer.
in them.
Yeah, they have lead paint on the outside.
Gotta love the 60s, huh?
Yeah. Like and then so now all I wanted to do was make a promo video. Now we can't drink out of this Garfield cup again.
No.
And I was like, a little bit of lead's good for you. Not a lot, but a little.
It's like poison of a snake.
Yeah, I mean, it's like all those anti-vaxxer moms that didn't get their kids vaccinated and then like polio came back. You got to give them, like, maybe you're right. Maybe maybe parts of the vaccine are toxic, maybe. But also, part of those help you not have a weird leg, and no polio.
Do you want me to tell you what the internet says about a little bit of lead?
Yeah, please.
Yes.
No.
No.
Even a small amount could lead to serious health problems.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Oh my
so-
God. We've been putting that thing in the dishwasher and it's contaminating all the other
I
dishes.
feel like you're fine now. You would have known.
We barely drank out of it. We bought that cup on our trip to Portland, Maine, which was 2 months ago.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, people sucked
Probably.
off those cups for a decade, and then maybe one of them was like, "I got a headache," like that was it.
And I looked it up, and everyone's selling them for super cheap. Like you can get 4 for $18.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to buy the whole set when we were there. The guy had the whole set. This gay man running a vintage store in
Real willing
Portland.
to get a good price too. He didn't care. He's like, man, this guy's stupid.
This guy doesn't know what he has.
This guy must have been drinking out of these cups. He's an idiot.
I like Garfield. That's what I grew up on.
You know, the second, when I said, is lead okay to eat? The second is a Quora of questions saying, I eat a lot of graphite. Is it harmful? Yes. You specified inside of a pencil. Like, yeah, you're.
Oh my
I
god.
don't think it's
It's
good.
one of those people.
Yeah.
One of those people that eat weird things.
So I don't know how this guy got on the internet. He's eating lead pencil fucking sticks.
Oh, he's on Amazon. He's got to order more lead. Yeah, so I guess we got to get rid of that cup. That was a real. That was a real.
Anyone want a cup?
Anyone want it? I don't know. We tried to go do more stuff. Like we went to the movies last week because this is something you brought up, where you're like, why do you like New York City so much? Mm-hmm. And I told you, well, I like the option of doing a lot of things. But she's like, but you don't do any of them. And I was like, yeah, but I like having the option around. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like when you're in a hotel room and I don't have a bottle of water. That's the thirstiest I've ever been.
Yeah.
But if I have the bottle of water, I'd never touch it. I just like knowing it's there in case I get a little parched,
Have you guys seen like any Broadway shows since you've been here?
Yeah. Yeah, we went and saw Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we went and saw that. A lot of information too fast. Like
a
I
lot,
caught
yeah.
little
It's too
pieces here
long.
and there.
Like
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, she has a very short attention span. Like
Sure.
30 minutes into a movie, she's like, I need a break. And I was like, what? She's like, how much is left? Good God, get on with it.
I love seeing a show where I'm like, I look before and it says, no intermission. I'm like, no mic. I need out. I need to take a break.
yeah.
I like watching long things, but yeah, but that whole, I don't know. Like, I like having the option of stuff to do. Just like I like having the bottle of water in a hotel.
Right.
I imagine it's the same reason like people like having a gun at home. They're like, I don't want to kill anyone now, but I like the option to end someone's life soon when I want.
Someone walks into your house, you're like, drink out of this.
Yeah.
Eventually, this will be a problem. Everything's gone in your house. There's just the cup left. The lead poisoning is not fast acting enough.
Yeah. So I don't know. But we went to the movies.
I'm going to pump your guts full of lead. Just take a sip. You let me finish.
That sounds like a good PSA. Is the clip from Home Alone? I'm gonna pump your guts full of lead. 1, 2.
Garfield.
Lasagna. But we went and saw that movie, The Substance. Mm-hmm. Did you see that movie?
I don't think so.
It's with Demi Moore and that one girl who has one face to do. What's that actress's name? She was in The Maid. I said I wasn't going to say this.
Margaret Qualley.
Is that her name?
Yes.
She has, and I mean this, she's a great actress. I've seen her in multiple things. She has one face that she really loves to do, which is this. Just
She's good, though.
very good.
Do you know who her mom is?
No.
Andy McDowell.
Nepo baby.
Fine.
Because she's
Still
good.
talented,
Yeah.
and Andy McDowell can do no wrong in my book.
Wow, I didn't know that. But now that you say that, right here, right in the eyes, Andy McDowell. That's an actress.
So talented.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
If you saw a photo, you'd
Groundhog's
know.
Day.
I don't think she's seen Groundhog's Day.
All right,
I
let's do
also
it.
haven't seen
Let's
Groundhog's
do it right
Day.
now for her. You haven't seen Groundhog's Day?
I haven't. Bill Murray and I are like, I feel like Bill Murray like did hypnotism on like half of America in the 70s.
And you never got it?
And I never got it.
Yeah.
I was like, what is it?
Groundhog Day's fantastic.
Andy McDowell. Mick.
Did you see Michael? With
Travolta?
Travolta?
When he's an angel? Mm-hmm. I don't think you've seen. Have you seen that? He plays an angel.
Yeah,
He comes
it's
back
really
to like,
great. Really great.
this lady. I mean, this is her now, but she did more actresses.
Oh yeah, I see the resemblance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen her before.
I tweeted at her once. Remember when there was it was like a trend on TikTok or Instagram being like Wednesday Crush or something like that. There was like I don't remember what it was, but I said
Woman Crush Wednesday.
that WCW. That's right. And I just randomly tweeted and I said, Andy McDowell will always be my WCW, and she replied.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
She was like, oh, that's so sweet. And I was like, I could die right now.
Did you respond? Well, now you got a stalker.
just a photo of me naked.
I follow you.
Now, what do you think? What do you think, Andy?
Oh no.
Dude, just every time a celebrity responds to somebody, well, now you got a stalker. And they're like, all right, yeah, that was my fault.
That's why I don't do that.
I got to call security. But anyway, we went and saw the movie The Substance, which one is a horror movie about women trying to stay young. And it's great. Like, it won the best script at the Toronto TIFF.
I think so.
I think that's where we read that. Great script. God awful movie. It was so bad. It's a horror movie. All the actors did a killer job.
There were good moments.
They were great, but it's just but the way they shot it was jarring, and sonically, you're like, please stop making that noise.
Really?
And it's a horror movie, so I get it. It's supposed to be, but it felt like listening. You know when a band puts out an experimental album, and they're like, yeah, but we want to make noises that are abrasive, and then you hear it, and you're like, yep. It's abrasive. And then you're like, I'm not replaying that.
Can I just pay your record company to get you out of the contract that you're clearly trying to get out of? Like, don't do this to me.
It was like listening to Metallica's Lulu album. You ever hear that one?
It was terrible.
So Metallica put out an album with Lou Reed where they just kind of played guitar, like kind of basic guitar riffs, and then Lou Reed would just do poetry.
Oh.
Not to the melody of the song. It was just an old man rambling poetry about a Russian ballet, which was the inspiration for this. It was a bad album. There's like a clip of, and James Hetfield's the backup singer. So like one time he says the line, I am the table. And in the background, Hetfield's like, I am the table.
Oh my God.
It's so bad. That's what it was like watching this movie, was like if they turned up Lulu and then they added in like Trent Reznor noises.
Well, you're one of the only ones, my friend.
I know.
91% on Rotten Tomatoes. People love this movie.
You know what I would love to ask of those people that loved it? How much would we have to pay you to watch it again?
Interesting.
Because there are those movies where you're like, this is how I felt when I was watching the movie. I get why it won Script of the Year. Mm-hmm. All the actors are killing it. Demi Moore, the McDowell's daughter, crushed it. Everybody, great. I loved everything, except who made this movie? Like, the guy who scored it should be thrown off a cliff. The guy who did the jarring edits should reconsider. Like, if it was, who made the movie Interview with the Devil? Remember we watched that scary movie? It was soft. Did you watch that one?
I don't think so.
Interview with the Devil. It was like a 1970s talk show, and they interview. Anyway, it was shot so beautifully, and it was still scary and creepy. The ending was weird, but like they were able to be scary without assaulting my ears and eyes. You know? And they also stole a scene. They stole the Carrie scene.
Everyone steals everything.
Yeah.
I just wanted
I just wanted
to
stop you from hating this movie.
I just wanted to sprinkle that on there. They also, but imagine if the Carrie scene, which that scene did last a long time. But imagine if the ending of the Carrie scene was longer and the music was just for like 9 minutes.
A guy got up and left.
Yeah, a guy got up and left and never came back. And it might have been because the bathroom was at the bottom of the stairs, and he's like, I get it. And
I figured it out.
Yeah. And we also sat next to a talking couple, which you almost killed her. She was also one of your own. Yeah, you said she was a purge.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
She was.
Yeah,
but she ordered water like 5 times. I think she thought she was fine dining at this movie theater. That poor waiter, like...
Oh, this was a sit-down plate where they bring you food and crap.
Sure.
Yeah. She drank like...
Oh, yeah.
like so loud.
How's it go?
I can't do it again.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. That's how she drank, and I could hear it 2 people away.
That's
and
so good.
I don't know if she had an Adam's apple, but there was like a fist in her throat coming out, just going, blah, 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 and we were trying to pay attention to this movie, and it was
maybe that's why we didn't like the movie.
But she eventually shut up, and then we were with the movie.
I heard her the whole time.
Because I remember I didn't like the first 10 minutes of the movie, and I was like, I wonder if it's the movie or it's them, the talking.
Yeah.
But then I felt like they weren't bothering me as much, and now I'm in the movie, and I'm like, still kind of don't like it.
We saw the Harry Potter play recently,
Yeah.
and there was this lady and her kid just would not stop talking behind us the entire. And everyone's doing the look back.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Can I talk to an usher?" I go, "Look, this is I'm not this person, but these people won't stop just yipping the entire. Is there anything you can do?" And she goes, "Not really."
What?
I was like, "This is
Wow.
what do you do then? Can you just flash a light in their eyes, like as if they're on their phone?"
But
they
you
were just
can't even talk to them?
full talking the entire time.
Is it
They're like,
because it's like Harry Potter's for kids and it's just assumed
it's
that
still a show.
Yeah,
Like,
you can't do it.
where's the mom to go, "Yo, shut up"?
Yeah.
But no, it was tough.
I did something I'm not proud of once. I went and saw 8mm. No, it was this Spielberg movie.
I think 8mm.
8mm? Yeah. And then it was a mother-daughter, and they talked through the entire movie, and everyone looked, and then at the end, we're all getting up to leave, and I was like, that was impressive. You guys talked the entire time. I didn't think you could pull that off. And then they were so shocked.
Shoemaker. That was Joel Shoemaker. Sorry.
Oh, that wasn't Spielberg?
No.
Oh, all right.
sometimes when we're at a movie theater and someone's talking, if they're not directly beside me, I'll do the shh.
Oh, yeah. Very passive aggressive.
They don't know it's me. I'll
Yeah.
do it for everyone, you know?
Every once in a while, like the person talking has a deep voice, and then I'll be like, "Come on, Emma!" Like in my head, I'll try to telepathically try to save myself from a potential ass kicking, and be like, "Don't, come on, dude, this guy. I don't know. Do you hear his voice? He sounds like he could throw me across the street. Please don't
If
get
he
me."
ever comes up to you and be like, that was him.
Well, no, I gotta step in. Like if he says anything to you, I'm like, "Excuse me, sir," and he's gonna pick me up by the finger and whip me around like a whip and throw me in the front.
See, I think maybe I'm sexist for not saying. If it was a guy, I would have said something. But it was a woman. I'm not gonna. Then I'm just like abusive.
Yeah.
But if it was a guy, I'd have been like, "Hey, man, do you want me to go to the ATM with you? Like, I'll follow you out of here.
No,
I'll wait for my money."
I don't discriminate. I'll do it.
I guess I
Yeah,
do.
yeah. Emma doesn't care. She'll tell you what's going on
Yeah.
all the time. And then I'm like, wait, what's happening? Most of the time, I don't even know when you have a dispute with somebody. And then I'll just be like, what? And then I'm like, oh, we got a problem. And I'll be like, all right. And then at the end, I'll be like, thank you. And she's like, why'd you say thank you? And I was like, wait, were we having beef back there? I didn't even know we were having beef. I was off.
You're oblivious to beef sometimes. Like
I don't get it. Like, you have to
sometimes
be.
women give off sass and like women can see it.
Right.
I feel like men just can't. Don't notice that kind of thing.
I just think they're being women.
I don't know.
Hilarious.
Like, I just think, yeah. I think
No, we notice. We just get it.
Yeah, every hostess at every restaurant we've ever been to is 21. She thinks she's too good for the job. And then having to talk to me is like, ugh, what? And I'm like, I get it. That's your age. Eventually, you'll get some wrinkles and you'll calm down. You'll become a human once you stop thinking you're untouchable. You'll come be a human with the rest of us. I just assume that's who they are. Whoop.
Eventually, the money that your parents are going to unlock to you will show up, and you'll never have to deal with me again.
Exactly.
But in the meantime, table for two. Apologize for coming in. I'm all about workers' rights. Like, I'm a huge workers' rights fan, but also like, just do your job, man.
Yeah.
Just like, come on.
Especially if you're a hostess, you knew I was coming.
Yeah.
I wrote it down. I called. Zoltan, 2. I'm here. How could you be mad at me?
Can I tell you something completely off topic, but made me
Yeah.
laugh so hard today? This morning, we're just going through wedding stuff.
Yeah.
And Becca goes, "What's Zoltan's first name?" I was like, very funny.
I get that all the time.
It's so good.
Yeah. What's your first name? What's your first name? I'm like, that is my first name. And I've heard, good Lord, what's your last name?
Well, I reference most of my friends as their last name.
Ah.
It's Pavone, Scope. It's everyone's last name. So she
Right.
just assumed
Yes.
that every time I mentioned Zoltan, she's like, well, that's his last name.
That
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, when I played football, nobody ever called me Kaszas.
Well, with a name like Zoltan.
Yeah, it's Zoltan.
Yeah.
Just drop the
Zoltan.
last name. What are we doing?
Yeah. Zoltan. I remember that. We were all sitting there, and Dane, his last name's Bass, and one of our friends, like, we were friends before football. He came by, and he was like, Bass, we got to go. And he's like, dude, you know me. You don't have to call me back. We were friends before high school football. You can just call me Dane.
That's so
this
funny.
This is fine.
I love it.
But yeah, it's, sometimes, like, women, there's, like, Sometimes I've noticed women can have beef and then it's kind of oblivious to me. Maybe Mike picks up on it, but I'll just kind of go like, "Oh, you guys were just talking. I didn't know there was a battle going
I
on."
don't know. Yeah. Between each other, if I'm getting sassed, I know it. But watching two sass together, I don't know that that's sass. Yeah.
I think women know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think women know. But also, like, if I know that it's
Hey, how
going...
are you doing today? Oh, she's on one. Wait, what?
What did you leave with? I hope you have a better day.
Oh yeah, that is what I said.
Yeah, and then that's why you got mad, because I was like, thank you.
I hope so too. Wait, what?
That was nice of you to just wish her a good day. You know? Yeah, I'm not good at it.
I'm not good at women stuff.
Or like if men are being... Remember that one time we walked into that bar? And then I was like so polite. And I was like, excuse me, are you guys open? Because it was the afternoon. And he also had a big rack of like glasses. And no one else was in there. And I'm like, excuse me, are you guys open? And he's like, is the door open?
Ugh.
And I was like, oh, okay. And then we just left.
Yeah, I was like, we're out of here.
Yeah. But I was also on the same page. That wasn't one of those where I was like...
That wasn't a woman though.
That wasn't. That was a bra. Or a bra. that was a bro. And I knew, and I was like, I don't like you. By the way, if you're gonna be a bartender with the "I'm too cool for," like, you know those bars where they're like, "This is a hipster bar," and like, you're not cool. I promise you're not cool. The government thinks you make no money because all your cash is you just tipped in cash. You can't go get a loan. You're not better than any of us. So what? You got an English degree and you found out it was worthless once you entered, and then you started slinging drinks. You're not better. Just be polite to people. You're not better because you work at a bar with a train painted on the wall. Like, that doesn't make you better. That got very specific. Looking at you, Whistle Stop in South Park of San Diego. Always the biggest jerks that work the bar over there.
Whistle Park?
Whistle Stop. It was
Check this place
they
out.
used to do a comedy show there that I loved doing, and I've had better experiences with the bartenders there more recently. But the first few years I went there, they were such jerks. They thought they were so cool because they listened to Muse. You know?
Yeah.
Muse is great. I'm sure they wouldn't like you.
Yeah. It's their branding to be jerks.
I don't like that branding. I like the branding of, thank you so much for coming to my business. Also, you don't have to kiss my ass either. You know? You just treat me like
Just
a
be
regular
nice.
person.
Yeah.
Hey, what would you like? I'll take that beer. Great. I don't want the conversation. I don't care if you talk to me. Just don't feel like I'm putting you out by paying with the 20 and now you got to make change. Hey, I guess you're not getting tipped.
Poor service. I would give it 0 if I could.
Reviews?
Unfriendly employees.
Thank
There
you.
you
See,
go.
I'm not that wasn't a me thing then.
No. Poorest service ever.
Ah, I love it. Burn it to the
Locals
ground.
not welcome.
Locals not welcome.
Yeah. A lot of complaining about
But crap service.
the service and the noise.
Oh, yeah, it's a loud bar.
Yeah.
Eh,
It's also the name of a movie from 1946. Whistle
loud
Stop.
bar?
Whistle Stop.
Oh. Sure. Maybe that's why. Anytime, like, it has some obscure reference, they always seem to hire the biggest jerks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Anyway, The Substance, not a good movie. Remember when we saw Demi Moore naked? Or she's naked the entire movie. And then it showed her butt. And then you were like, is that going to happen to my butt when I get
I had no idea.
Because and I'm not ripping on anyone, but like her butt kind of looked, you know when like a dog sometimes gets their lip stuck in their tooth? And it's just kind of, that's what one of her butt cheeks look like. And I don't even, they probably used a body double. Who knows? But that's what the butt that they showed in the movie looked like. And Emma was like, is that going to happen to my butt? And I was like, maybe.
It's pretty impressive if it was Demi Moore to put that out there. It's
Yeah,
not.
it
It's not the
was,
Hollywood thing to do.
Can't they do a thing now where they just, I mean, they CGI everything. Can't you just CGI a different body on somebody?
But isn't that the point of the movie? It's about
true.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that'd be a little weird if they churched that up.
But also, like, that's big, much kudos to Demi Moore because I was putting myself in her position. I've even at my age, like, if I was naked and they're like, hey man, we're gonna zoom in on your taint because we notice it comes forward like a vagine because of the meat. it just looks fat. We're going to do that. You don't have much of a taint as more of your butt crack just goes to your nutsack. And we were going to really zoom in on that just to show how bodies can be better than the one you have. And I'd be like, oh, all right. Like, how much are you paying me again? I'd have to revert to my, like, it takes a lot of courage. So, like I said, I loved everything about the movie except the movie.
It's like I appreciate them doing that because there's a movie called The Idea of You with Anne Hathaway. Have you seen this?
Yes.
You watched it.
The whole time, it's about this like 40-year-old woman that like a 23-year-old falls in love with, and the whole movie she's just like, "Why would you want to date me? I'm just an old ragged mom."
Yeah, she looks great.
It's like, you're the hottest woman on earth. Like, I can't buy into this. Like, at some point, I was like, they're gonna reference this. Like, she's like, oh, just little old me with the perfect body and perfect teeth.
They should have picked Jenny and Sumit from 90 Day.
Oh yeah. You ever?
You know-
I don't know who that is, but I've seen that show. So
Yeah.
import anyone from that show.
There's a lot of, because every time they do that show, there's always like one of them's older, whether it's the man or the woman. One of them's older, and the younger one's from the other country, and they're trying to come in or whatever. And whoever the oldest one is looks like a wet dog. Everyone just looks like like they bit the groomer and they didn't have time to blow dry, and they're like, "Come pick up your dog, dude. Get it out of here."
It's so funny.
It's what they look like on there. It's just everyone, like, they weren't ready for hair and makeup, and they're like, "We're shooting now." And, you're like,
And action.
All right. I just got out of the shower. But yeah, it was. I always forget that every time we go to the movies, that it's so much better to watch at home.
Yeah,
but
it
the
really
thing,
is.
but the thing I like about watching it out is that we have to finish it.
Yeah.
Because at home, we tried to watch a movie last night, and it was bad. But 20 minutes in, we're like, this is crap. And then we turned it off and went about our lives. And I'm like, it just feels, I feel the same way as when I don't finish a book. I feel like I didn't accomplish that story.
Right.
Or you didn't waste your time.
That's true. Do you ever have this moment where you think every book is good just because you finished it?
Yeah, there is a sense of accomplishment that sometimes does not attribute it to the quality of the book.
It's not a good, because my buddy John, he's a what do you get? He has a master's in literature or something. So he's working on a novel. He's very smart, and so we'll recommend books back and forth, and I'll recommend certain books. He's like, yeah, I read it. It's pretty good. Kind of fell apart in that middle part though, and I was like, yeah, it did. But I finished it. like I read it anyway, you know?
That's why I don't think people read the Bible all the way through. Anyway, what else are we talking about? So you really glazed over a couple of those bits there, pal.
Part about loving everybody?
Yeah, well, the other parts too.
Oh, yeah. Everyone picks and chooses.
Sure.
I do that with Bukowski. I do with Bukowski what people do with the Bible. They pick and choose. Like a lot of people with Bukowski, they go, oh, he's like womanizing and he's a drunk and all this and that. And I'm like, yeah, he uses that to tell the story, but in between, there's some good parts. Like yesterday, there was a line that said, I always wake up at noon. That's the secret to my existence. And I'm like, just like us. Look at that, waking up at noon, just like the old Book.
Every time Zoltan comes out of the bathroom, he's like, let me read you this line from this Bukowski book.
He has such good lines. And I'm like, and then that's why when people don't like him and they're like, oh, he's a womanizer and all this stuff, they're like, yeah, but like, did you read do you get the story? The story's good.
But there's an acknowledgement of it, though. He's not hiding the fact.
No.
Right? Which I think is why people can accept that. Because if you know what it is going in, you're, okay, great. I can accept it because they've accepted it.
Right.
But when other times they're pretending like they know what they're talking about and it turns out they don't, you're like, oh, well, you're just making it up.
Right.
You're just saying things.
Yeah, you're just saying things and you're pretending to be all highfalutin. He's a gross guy who's an alcoholic who loves to be alone and drink wine and type on his typewriter and come up with these magical little lines that I like to read. That was nice.
That was very nice.
That made me feel good.
Good.
Yeah. How are you doing today? You feeling it?
Doing good, yeah.
I got nothing else.
How we doing on time?
We're there. 54, 55.
Ooh,
yeah.
that's good. Let me see if I missed anything. I wrote it down on the notes. I forgot to tell you. I did a corporate gig. This is good that I saved it for the end because the people that I'm going to talk about probably won't listen to this. Let's make sure. Hey, Mark, let's not turn this into a clip and put it on Instagram. This is for the people that stayed. I did a corporate event or it was a fundraiser for a cat shelter in Arkansas this past weekend. And I had a person that I went to school with come to my show. And I went on late. First of all, everyone was hammered at this show because I think the event started at 6 and I went on at about 9:30.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Full hour?
I don't think anyone was timing me, but I think I did a full hour because I was timing myself and I lost track. So I think I ended up doing between 50 and 60, which I think they only had me scheduled for 40, so I could have done less.
Yeah.
But I remember, first of all, it was also one of those where they did a fundraiser right before my set, and it was a QR code, and they're like, our goal is to hit $5,000, and we're at like $1,350, and I'm like, I'm never getting on the stand. Like, I'm watching these people, and a lot of them were older, and they're like trying to figure out QR codes and how to do this. I'm like, dude, let them give you a check. They brought checkbooks, and but eventually they beat $5,000. I get to go on stage, and then right in the middle of the show, I mentioned I'm from San Diego, and I just see two silhouettes stand up in the darkness, and they just go, woo, San Diego! And that's when I remember that someone left me I'm not going to use their name, but this person left me a comment saying, we're coming to your show, blah, 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 I'm so excited to see you. And I was like, oh, hey, it's you, so-and-so. And I say their name, they're like, yeah. And then I started talking about Mr. Swift, our English teacher, who ended up dying in a scooter accident because he was drunk. And then the audience is weird. And then they just kept yelling. And then people were asking him to sit down. I don't know why they stood. I even said that. I'm like, I don't know why you're standing.
We heard you.
Yeah, we heard you. I don't know why you're standing. And then they came up and talked to me afterwards. And it was so nice to see them. And they were clearly having a great time. Trashed, so much drunker than everybody else. And I remember the lady, one of the organizers of the event, after that, they were like, you did such a good job. Thank you for doing it. Yeah, we were at the table with your friends. And I'm like, my classmates. And they're like, yeah, we tried to get them to sit down. They wouldn't. And, my friend was sitting there. And now she can't find her purse or her wallet or her phone or her keys. And I was like, and she's like, I'm not saying, I'm not implying anything. And I'm like, you kind of are.
you definitely did.
Yeah. And she's like, well, and I was like, did these people show up hammered and then steal a lady's purse from their table and leave? And then I started to think back of how many times people I know from school have come to my show, and there's been situations like that a lot. There was that guy he's dead now. This guy I'm about to talk about. He showed up to that bar show in 2021, and he paid the hosts like $100 so he could do 5 minutes at the end. Smashed to the gills, falls off the stage, and I think he passed. He's since passed away. I forget what. But I was like,
venture a few guesses, but
yeah. He's unfortunately, he's a good guy. I knew him in high school. Clearly fell on hard times. Then there's just other times, and I'm like, did I go to a white trash high school? Like, after it happened so many times, I'm like, did I go to like a? Because like the people I keep in contact with are upstanding citizens. Listen, they like to drink. They get rowdy. Sure, they got a couple DUIs. Sure, we get thrown out of a couple
Who
bars.
doesn't?
But they're not going to ruin it. They're not going to like interject at a fundraiser. You know? I mean, they'll bring alcohol to an AA show that I'm doing and sip out of a red cup. Definitely did that. They definitely did that I scolded them for. But like, they're not going to, it was, I don't know. Sometimes you don't know where you're from until you leave, and then you're like, oh, yeah, there were a lot of trucks with nuts hanging off the back.
Well, I'll say this, and I don't know the people you grew up with.
Yeah.
But based on what you just said about what the upstanding citizens that you went with, what they've done, it's a trashy high school. You know, so you came up with trash. Yeah, sure, they'll sneak booze into an AA meeting, but the great people. Hey, buddy, they're trash.
That's a true story.
I had a guy get kicked out of our 10-year high school reunion because he threw a pint glass at his wife.
Oh,
and it shattered, and they were like, and he got arrested.
Yeah.
At the reunion. Like, oh, yeah, this is a good group of people.
That's a great reunion.
Yeah, that's a good time.
Did they bend him over the table where you pick up the name tags with
I
the
didn't
marker?
know it happened until later.
Oh.
It happened in the parking lot.
I would have loved it if it happened like next to the punch bowl or the registration table.
Yeah.
They bump him over next to the
Hilarious.
wristbands and tie his hands.
Well, he didn't even graduate, so everyone was wondering why he was there. Like, oh, he showed up? Did he finish high school? All right. And then next thing I know, I just like, oh, he just got arrested. I was like, what? And I saw the lights, but I didn't even think about it. I was also pretty blasted.
What graduating year is this? He's like, I don't know. I was there from 02 to 06.
I keep showing up to these things hoping it's one of mine. I was best friends with a guy in 8th grade, and we had a fight and never spoke again. And I'm pretty blessed for that.
Yeah.
He taught me that stealing was cool. Like, he was like, you should steal. And so I stole a little pen knife from him, kind of like as like a goof. And he got really mad at me for that. And he accused me of stealing, because I did. And that was the best thing I ever stole, because otherwise I probably would have fallen down his path.
Right.
So it was great.
Did him a favor.
God made me steal that day. Yeah.
Wow, the Bible.
Back to the Bible.
Back to the Bibble. Good old Bibble.
Good Bible.
Yeah. So it was. Did you grow up like? Was your high school? You went to a nice high school with like classy, upstanding.
Everyone was a nerd at my high school. I don't think I ever saw a fight happen.
Wow.
4 years I was there.
I saw so many fights.
I think it was a fight a day.
Yeah. There's a lot of blood shed at my school. I remember this one girl beat up this other girl because she was dating her ex-boyfriend. So it was like over a guy, and she peed her pants. That's like she went into shock from the butt whooping that she peed her pants. She had to change schools. You can't go back to that school.
And change underwear.
Yeah, wow. First period. Like, you had the whole day.
You didn't even have breakfast yet.
Yeah.
Coffee hasn't even kicked in.
Took an ass kicking on an empty stomach, and I was like, good Lord, that poor girl.
Yeah.
And she was the girl that laid the whooping, I think, could have taken most of the dudes. Like, she was a no nonsense. We were cool. Like,
She was a teacher. That's how crazy that school was. She was the gym teacher.
She sat behind me in algebra, and I always thought she was really nice. And then I heard that, and I was like, good Lord. But yeah, I went to a rough and tumble high school. Classy people. Anyway, buy yourself a safe journal. Why don't you come to a show, ZoltanComedy.com. New York, baby, the Big Apple. Tickets are flying off the dots. I'm counting the dots on the Ticketmaster for the show we're doing. It's November 15th, the Gramercy Theater. It's part of the New York Comedy Festival. Big man Mike Albanese will be there. I'll be there. It's going to be a good time. So come and buy those tickets. And yeah. Any closing thoughts, Miss Emma?
Love yourself.
Love yourself.
That's a good one.
There you go. We talked about so much negativity today, but you know what? Love yourself. Whether the government controls the weather or not. Whatever. Get an umbrella. Like, we'll figure it out. It'll be okay. Follow Big Man Mike on all the socials, Zoltan Comedy. Ciao, everybody.
Trekking heavy or traveling light, there's one thing that's right wherever I